Baldur's Gate 3 is a magnificent, astonishing RPG, whose developers respect their players and heed the wishes of true, dedicated gamers.
Fucking slaves, get your ass back here!
In this game you can do practically anything you desire, regardless of how absurd or ludicrous it may be. If the idea crosses your mind while creating a character to make an elf with a well-endowed male anatomy, in common with a penis, in order to roleplay as the most enigmatic persona and eventually become a dungeon master, with your own
Slaves!
then please, no one will restrict you in your desires. The folks at Larian Studios are deeply passionate about their craft, and it's evident in their creations. For 3 years this game was in early access, and throughout those 3 years the developers listened to players' feedback and added what they wanted to see in the final product. Players wanted a high quality product, and the developers, understanding this, went to great lengths to present it to consumers in the most visually appealing and refined way possible. Unfortunately, studios like Larian are quite rare nowadays, as the majority of modern studios, driven by greedy investors, simply cram as much monetization into their games as possible without putting effort into creating the good games that fans anticipate. They're afraid to experiment and try something new. Larian, on the other hand, shatters the system and, like true bosses of this gym, outshine all others, demonstrating how things should be done. Just take a look at how many players are currently enjoying Baldur's Gate 3. Truly, this game is unique. After playing it, you might realize how dull your life has been. In Baldur's Gate 3, you can be so enamored with nature
Anyway, how is your sex life?
that you could easily seduce a druid and have sex while he's in the form of a beer.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
In my opinion, the developers of Baldur's Gate 3 are ingenious, and this is not only due to the two aforementioned reasons, although for some that might also be a compelling reason to purchase this game. For a player who is completely unfamiliar with the concept of true classic RPGs, it might be challenging initially. Figuring out what to do and where to go can feel like being lost. No one will hold your hand here, and there won't be any arrows pointing to the 100% correct path either. But since we've embraced the freedom of choice, let's delve a bit deeper into what you can do in this game and the potential consequences it might lead to. In Baldur's Gate 3, much like in any respectable D&D game, there's an abundance of dialogues that you'll have to read through a lot. The game's final script comprises around 2 million words, but what makes these dialogues captivating in their incredible variety and variability? A significant portion of them depends on your character's abilities, skills, and sometimes even their race. Here you can roleplay as both a malicious control and a well-intentioned do-gooder. Everything depends on your choices, and these are not empty words. Your decisions influence both the plot and your companion's attitudes towards you. They might criticize your actions or decisions, or they might offer their support. In fact, you can even strike a deal with the master of a burning dungeon. Yes, the game is that serious about it. Therefore, you can handle each situation in different ways. Imagine a scenario. After a tough battle with your team, you return to your camp to rest and recover. You lie down by the fire when suddenly you hear someone approaching. Your character wakes up and sees a vampire leaning in, seemingly about to feed on you. Shocked, your hero jumps up and you have a choice. Engage in a conversation with a bizarre character to find out what the hell he were trying to do, or channel your inner Giga Chat. Grab the nearest stick and impale the bloodsucker without further questions or warnings. The choice is yours, and it's this level of agency that sets Baldur's Gate 3 apart. The game embraces your decisions and lets you shape the story and your character's path in a multitude of ways. Furthermore, come morning, the other members of your team will wholeheartedly support such a decision, and your relationships with them will strengthen. In what other game can you simply take a stick and bludgeon a member of your party, and after such moments you sit back and realize how great you are, or rather, how wonderfully immersive this game is. Thanks to these twists, both main and side plot lines will change. Some possibilities will close off, while others will open up. The deep
It's so fucking deep.
Or should I say, profoundly wearable dialogues are astonishing and of course make Baldur's Gate incredibly replayable. Speaking briefly about the plot, listen, your hero decides to step out of the house for the first time in a week to buy some fresh juicy buns. Out of nowhere, an alien ship full of freaks appears in the sky, abducting half the townsfolk. On this ship, the Cthulhu-esque octopuses, also known as mind flayers, implant their larva into your head, turning you into one of them or simply a snack for the evening. Meanwhile, the alien's ship is attacked by dragons, and you all get teleported to different worlds, but the ship gets a hole, so you crawl out of your pod and seek an escape. Along the way, you might meet a couple of characters who eventually join your party. You attempt to flee the ship by leaping out of it, and you end up on the shore of unfamiliar lands. From this moment on, your main task becomes extracting the alien larva from your head, before you turn into a mind flayer. By the way, the beginning strongly resembles Divinity 2, only there we were sailing on a regular ship. However, this larva affects your characters differently, giving you even some telepathic abilities that will help you in dialogues and occasionally save you in certain situations as you progress. Of course, Baldur's Gate is renowned not only for its dialogues. When it comes to the combat system and world exploration, both aspects are especially well crafted here. One of my personal favorites is the local goblin pastime where, after placing a bet, you're tasked with herding a poor chicken into improvised gates. After that, the goblins will try not to give back your honestly earned 30 coins. However, your head's larva rush to the rescue, helping you not only reclaim your winnings, but also everything else from the goblins who challenged you. But on a more serious note, during character creation, you'll have to choose a race and a class that suits you best. There are 11 races in the game, and to top it all off, dwarves, elves, dwarves, tieflings, halflings, half-elves, gnomes and dragonborn have several subtypes. Customizing your character is highly detailed, down to choosing the size of a penis, adding freckles or vitiligo. In other words, if you want to, you can spend hours in the character editor alone. Here you can play as a classic mage or a two-handed warrior, or you can take the path of a more skilled gamer and choose a bard, warlock or monk. Everyone will find a class, race and penis size to their taste. The game offers a total of 12 main classes and 46 subclasses. However, if you're not keen on creating an epitome of beauty and perfection, you can always choose a pre-made character with a predefined background and their own storyline. But in my opinion, it's much more interesting to craft your own story. After all, only those who seek the path might actually find it. Overall, the combat system is classic, as one would expect from a turn-based RPG. You have a certain number of action points that you'll spend on moving across the battlefield and using your abilities, whether magical or physical. Health, skills and perks can be unlocked as you progress and level up, or you can change some characters' attributes for money. Additionally, the cornerstone of the game is dice rolling, just like in classic tabletop games. You roll the dice whenever you explore a location or engage in the combat. This mechanic drives skill checks and your luck can vary. For instance, a skill check might fail, leading your characters to overlook a trap, resulting in your characters being thrown off the map and meeting their demise. In dialogues, you get to roll the dice yourself, and depending on your choice, an additional buff or debuff is applied based on your character's attribute progression. However, even these dice won't break the game for you. There won't be instances where you roll a natural 20 twice in a row, only to follow it up with a series of ones.
Fucking slaves, get your ass back here!
The game is balanced in a way that you won't always be fortunate, but you won't be a complete loser either. At first glance, the world map may not seem overly large, but within its compactness lies the juiciest content that Larian Games offers at every corner. You might enter a seemingly abandoned tavern only to discover a basement entrance, and within that basement you'll find so much content and enemies that you'll spend the next few hours there. This game is filled with various hidden passages, caves, loot locked doors, and on your first playthrough you'll surely miss about half of it. That's because this game genuinely holds hundreds of hours of content, both in terms of dialogues and plot twists, as well as battles. The folks at Larian Studios understand how to make games, and they have a deep understanding of their audience. Their love for their creation and constant communication with players allowed them to create an astonishing, vast, high-quality RPG. I'm confident that they have set a quality standard that all game studios should strive for. So let's just give credit to the team at Larian Studios and say thank you.